Hello and welcome to the third player interview here on Reds Fans, and I'm delighted to say we've got a former Crawley Town captain on the line. It's Josh Simpson. How are you doing, Josh?
I'm good. I'm very well, Marcus. Thanks for having me, mate. No, it's good what you're doing. I think it's good that able to look back at that season in the conference. It was a good year, and no, it's good doing these little interviews, and that makes it even better. It's good.
Oh, wicked. And helping me out today on the line is the brains of the operation here at Reds Fans, and it's Mr. Matthew Robotham. How are you?
I'll probably barely any help. I'm better at the other things, but I've got a couple of questions. That should be all right.
All
Don't
right.
put yourself down, mate.
First off, then, Josh, just how are you coping? Best wishes to all your family. How are you coping in the current climate?
Yeah, no, we're good. We're surviving. Laura's been at home with the kids, homeschooling. She's a third year student midwife, so she's been qualified early, and it was her first week last week where she went into the hospital. But until then, she's been at home. She's found it hard at times, but I've been working from the get-go, really. So it hasn't really affected me too much. I've still got a routine. So it's kind of still normal in a way for me, although like the weekend, you can only do so much. But yeah, we're surviving and making do.
Yeah. All right, then, back to the football. And my first question is just when you were at Peterborough and you first heard that Crawley Town were interested, what were your initial thoughts on the club and what you'd heard about them before you joined?
Well, at the time, I'd gone from Histon to Peterborough, which was a big move for me, going from the conference to the championship. So I was real humbled to have that move, and then didn't quite work out the season after when we got relegated. Gary Johnson came in and brought in his own players and told me that I was surplus requirements there, and I was looking at my options, and I went to Southend on loan, and then it was coming to Christmas where Southend wanted to sign me permanently, and Steve Evans got in touch and he was interested. And I knew a couple of players that had gone there. Sergio Torres had gone there from Peterborough. And I knew that Crawley had big ambitions. I think it's quite well known that they was throwing a bit of money at it to get promoted and stuff. And yeah, I said I'd go and meet Steve Evans, and I went and met him in Peterborough. He lives there. I met him at the hotel, and he turned up in shorts and flip-flops and a T-shirt, and he was very relaxed, and it was a real nice guy. And I'd heard a lot of things about Steve Evans and how he was this rough and tumble type character, and he was nice as pie, and got on really well with him. And he told me a lot about the club and asked me about me and my family and that, and yeah, kind of sold it to me really, and then didn't really look back from then on.
Yeah, you mentioned Steve Evans there. I was just wondering, you must have played under a lot of different coaches and managers, but who was your favourite?
My favourite manager, good question. I think at Peterborough, my first year, I had 4 different managers, and it was the first time I'd been at a club where I had a manager sacked. Darren Ferguson signed me, and then 3 days later, after he signed me, we played Newcastle away, and on the Monday he got sacked. So it was hard that season, and I had four managers. I think that the best manager, I think in terms of successes, I think Steve Evans has got to be up there. You know, we had a couple of promotions in 2 seasons, so he was his man management was different, but it worked. It brought success to the club. I think Richie Barker. I think I took to him really well. He was a very good coach, and I think I think he was one of the best coaches and managers I've played for, I'd say.
Okay, and then what did it mean to you when you got given the armband to captain the club?
Yeah, it was a good honour. I was never a player that was very vocal on the pitch, so I didn't really change myself vocally on the pitch. But off the pitch, you know, you have to take on a few more responsibilities and organise a few things, and you know, you've got to try and encourage the younger players coming through, the youth, and take on a few more responsibilities in that sense. But no, it was a big honour, and I was pleased to get that armband. I've never been captain before, and unfortunately, Steve Evans gave it to me. After Pablo, I think Pablo got injured, and then he passed it down to me. And no, it was a big honour, and I was pleased to sort of look back and say that I captained the side to get promoted. It was good.
Okay, and I'm just skipping ahead. You're 33 now. I was just wondering.
All right, Marcus, mate.
I was just wondering, had you had any thoughts about what you'd like to do? Because obviously, well, you're not retired in the future after you hang up your boots.
Yeah, so I'm kind of in that transition phase where I've gone from full time to part time. I've played for Bishop Stortford, semi-pro, and Cambridge City since I left Plymouth. And last year I kind of took a year out. I got a new job role. I'm a logistics manager and a site supervisor for an interior design firm. I kind of fallen into that really, and so working full time Monday to Friday. Some long days. I've kind of not. I wouldn't say I've not missed it, but I kind of really enjoy my weekends, and I wanted to enjoy it with my family. And it's the first time I've been able to do that. So I'm enjoying the role I've got, and yeah, just seeing where it takes me. Really.
Yeah, it's that sort of change of direction in a career path and spending that more time with your family. Is that why you've decided to take a little pause on your career?
Yeah, I think so. I never sort of said to myself, I'm not playing this season. It just kind of week to week, month to month, I kind of just took a step away from it. And I've kept myself fit. I've continued doing sort of my running program and doing my gym sessions and stuff. And I kind of see my runs as my match. You know, I know that players on average run 10, 11K a game. So when I go for my runs, I'll do 10, 11K and kind of mentally make out as though that's my game I've just played. So I'm keeping myself fit, and I think I will get back into it next season when that starts at some level. And but this year, and also last season, I've kind of took a year out, which done me good.
Yeah, all right, that's good to hear. Then just moving on to Matthew, as someone who admired your career at Crawley from the stands, what would you like to ask, Josh?
Well, I was going to ask you, who was the best player you've ever played with or against? I'm assuming that might be in the FA Cup, but we'll have to see.
So that season that we played Man U at Old Trafford in the FA Cup, I was cup-tied because I was on loan at Southend. I played against, I think it was Macclesfield, and we lost as well. So it was a terrible game to play in, to then not be able to play at Crawley that season in the FA Cup. So I was cup-tied with a few other players that had signed. So I didn't play against any of them players there. But when I was at Peterborough, we played against a number of teams in Championship. Newcastle, Blackpool, there was like Charlie Adams and Luis Enrique and Joey Barton and players like that. So they were good players to play against, and I learned a lot playing against that type of calibre of players. That was good. At Crawley, there's several players there who was different class. You know, there was Tubbsy and Sergio Torres, Danny Ballman. They're all good players. At Peterborough, there was George Boyd, Jake Livermore when he come on loan at Tottenham. Danny Rose came on loan from Tottenham at Peterborough. So there was a few players there that went on, had good careers. Ryan Bennett, he's at Leicester now. I was with him. We both signed at the same time at Peterborough. So yeah, there's loads of players that I've been able to play with who was real good players and went on to have really good careers. Yeah.
Well, also coming to your career, when it comes to injuries, how well do you think you would have achieved in football? Which league do you reckon you would have got to if it wasn't down to some injuries? Mainly it started at Crawley, would you not say, in League One?
I'd say I would have gone to the Prem, Matt. No, I was really unfortunate. I kind of left Crawley on, I'd say, bad terms. I was gutted the way it ended that season. I never really got any bad injuries throughout my career. I've been quite lucky. And then I don't know if you remember the first game of the season at Barnsley away. I rolled my ankle and I was out for several weeks for that.
Yeah.
And then when I came back from that injury, I was out for a while with that injury. And so when I come back from that, I started having problems with my hamstring. And I developed tangent tendonitis, which isn't a quick fix. So It took me most of that season, and even the last 3 games of the season when I come back, it still weren't right. But we was in a bad situation. We wanted to stay up, and I tried to do my bit to help out and try and stay up. But we lost in the last game of the season to Coventry. But I was really excited. Yeah,
James Madison was yeah. My dad was with me. My dad supports Coventry. He's supported them since the 50s.
yeah,
So it's a bit of a weird situation for him to see Crawley get relegated by his boyhood club and James Madison, who ends up being a top Premier League player as well.
exactly. I mean, it's one thing to turn around and say we lost, but at least we can say we lost to, a player of his calibre. He's going to have a good career. That was a shame, and I'm gutted to say that I left Crawley on them terms, because I think if I didn't have that injury at the start of the season, and I wouldn't have developed my hamstring tendonitis, and if I didn't have that, I still feel like I would have probably still be there now, which is it's a shame, because I love that club. And there's a few things that were put out on Twitter several weeks back about me not wanting to play, which isn't true. There was a bit of miscommunication that went around at the club, and I've never turned around and said I've never wanted to play at the club. It's because I wasn't ready and my legs weren't ready. I got a lot of pain in my legs and I wasn't fully fit. But that's that, and it's a shame. But no, it doesn't take away from what I really enjoyed my time at Crawley, and what's a fantastic club, and I still look at them today and follow them closely.
Yeah, all right. I mean, I'm sure the fans overall look back as you as a player who gave their all for the badge when they could. Just moving over to the fans' questions now that they've sent in on Twitter. Scott Solis said, "What was your favourite moment in a Crawley shirt, and who did you get on with best during your time at the club?"
The best moment I'd probably say was the League Two last game of the season, promotion day, when we beat Accrington Stanley. I think we was drawing at half time, and on the tannoy they started reading out the results, and I think it was Torquay who were winning, and we was a point ahead of them before that day, and because they were winning 2-0 or 3-0, we knew we had to go in the second half. We knew we had to win, because we was kind of on our last legs. We had a few injuries and we weren't playing great, but we was in the position where we were because of what we'd done earlier on in the season, and we needed to win the second half against Accrington. And I remember Scotty Nielsen scoring, and we won the game 1-0, and it was an unbelievable day. So I think because of how close we was to going into the playoffs, and I feel if we got into the playoffs that season, I don't think we would have done it. We didn't have the form going into the playoffs, and but we got over the line, and that was a fantastic day, and that's probably one of the most memorable ones. In terms of the best, my good friends, I think Sergio Torres, Danny Ballman, got Scott Shearer, Scott Nielsen, I still speak to today. I mean, that season, especially in conference, I think most people you speak to who got promoted would say that the team bond that you have, and togetherness, is what gets you promoted. I think that season, the characters and personalities we had in that dressing room really got us promoted, as well as the quality, obviously. But I think the togetherness that we had was brilliant, and everyone in that dressing room got on so well, and we were so tight. And I think that was, there's loads of friends I still speak to today from that season in League Two. Yeah. Oh,
that's good. Scotty Nielsen was saying that you guys are hoping to have a reunion at some point, hopefully in the near future.
Yeah, we had a Zoom call several weeks back. Me, Scott Shearer, Scotty Davis, Scotty Nielsen. Yeah, we said about trying to get a little reunion for us all. We keep saying it, and we will do it once this is all lifted. I think it's good to have them days together and reminisce on old times.
Yeah. The next question I think you've sort of already answered came in from John Lucy. He said, "What are you doing for a living these days?" So just to flip that, I was just going to say, like, with interior design, was that something you always had in the pipeline?
Not really, no. So I'm a site supervisor, logistics manager for interior design firm. So I kind of manage the operation on site. We've got an 800 student room accommodation up in Coventry that I have to sort of oversee and manage on site. So I've kind of fallen into that. I never sort of felt I'd do anything to do with this, but I wanted to be a PE teacher, and whilst I was playing at Crawley, I did a distance learning sports studies degree, 4.5-year degree, and I did it alongside playing. Used to learn on the coaches to away games and stuff with Sergio and Matt Sadler. We both did the same degree, and I completed that with a view of going into PE teaching. I did teaching for a year, and I didn't quite get the satisfaction from it. So that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I thought I wanted to do, but I couldn't hack it. Got 2 boys myself, and I couldn't hack 30 kids in front of me. It wasn't for me. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, at least you gave it a go to work.
That's it. Yeah.
The last question comes in from JP, and he said, "What are your thoughts on the current Crawley side? Obviously, on a very good run before the season got suspended."
Yeah, I think this season you've got a good mixture of experience and youth players. You know, you've got Joe McNerney, Danny Ballman, Ollie Palmer, Glenn Morris, who I was with at Southend. Then you've got, is it Bez Lubala and Jordan Tunnicliffe. You've got some really good players. And like you said, I think the last 18, 19 games of the season, you'd only lost three league games, I think it was. You're just outside playoffs and however many games go. And I think you had the form going into the last quarter of the season, whatever it is, fifth of the season. So, it's a shame that League Two and all this has happened and you haven't been able to see the season through because, you never know. But, no, I think you've got a good core of players there and it's a strong team.
All right, wicked. Well, that's all from us. Thank you very much for coming on, Josh. We really appreciate you giving up your time. Is there anything else you'd just like to say to the fans?
Fans have been brilliant to me from day one, and good luck for the future. And I'm sure I'll be back at Crawley sometime or form in the future.